I feel like it's one of the fewest times of my life that I can loudly say, "Hi, my name is Fusi and I'm suicidal."
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors and ideators so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough, not nearly enough. And when we do, when we talk about it, when we engage with people in pain, we're not very good at it. We're really bad at it. It's a problem, and my goal is to try, as best I can, to have these conversations, more of them, better conversations, with survivors, in large part to help more people in more places, hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are an attempt survivor or an ideator and you'd like to talk, it's real simple. Email me, hello@suicidenoted.com. I'll get back to you. We'll set something up and we'll talk. You can visit suicidenoted.com to learn more about this podcast, how you can make a tax-deductible donation, join our membership, among other things. Keeping it real with you, you may have noticed on Facebook, though Facebook doesn't really show our stuff very much, nor do the other places. That's a challenge, but that's the world of suicide. 2026 is going to be tough to get through doing this podcast. I'm going to try my very, very best. I've got a long list of people who want to talk with me and a lot of people I've spoken with who I have yet to edit their episodes. So there's a lot of work to do, but at some point it's going to have to stop. The money isn't there. I'm going to do my best, and I am busting my ass to try to do all kinds of things to stay afloat. So if you can help, please do. If you know someone that can help, please ask. I understand completely if that is not possible for you. But I do think it's reasonable and fair for me to remind you once in a while. Thank you for listening to that little rant. Finally, we're talking about suicide here on the Suicide Noted podcast. My guests and I do not hold back. Please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. Today I am talking with Fusi, aka Fusi. Fusi lives in the United Kingdom, and she is a suicide attempt survivor. Hi, Fusi.
Hi, Sean.
Where are you?
I am actually in Wales. I live south of England. I enjoy solo driving, so I just to get out away from my family, from my home.
You're in Wales?
Yeah, 6 hours away from my home.
You reached out in February, so not long ago. February. So it wasn't very long ago, and now we finally were able to connect.
I've always been listening to your podcast. I first came across it about 2.5 years ago.
All right, so you were listening for a while, and so what made you reach out and want to talk now?
I feel like I'm closer to my end of time or whatever it is. I've got 3 kids. I think if you remember my original email to you, I said I want to leave something that if anything happens to me, my kids can kind of use us to get some sort of answers. It might not be everything, but...
So this is like an audio suicide note?
Something like that.
Something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but you're saying, it sounds like you're dying soon.
I've been dying for a long time. And I feel like my everyday life, it's like every morning I have to find a reason to stay alive. I feel like I'm running out of those answers. And it breaks my heart for me to say this because my oldest is 16. So for the past 16 and a bit, my kids have been the answer. They still are. And it breaks my heart because me saying this out loud is like I'm saying my kids are not enough. Yeah, that is tearing me apart inside.
You have 3 kids?
Yeah. The oldest is 16, middle 10, and 8.
Right. Because of course there would be a lot of people that would hear it and say, well, what about your kids? And so doesn't that just speak to, and I want to hear, of course, a lot more about it. Like that just speaks to how much pain you're dealing with.
Yeah.
It'll affect them, obviously. Of course it's going to impact them.
Yeah, it has. It's a lot. And for actually all my life, I'm very good at masking my pain. I smile through it. I'm one of those people that smile even when they're crying.
Okay.
See, I'm doing it now. Yeah, because it was something that I had to practice to survive, that I was taught. I find it impossible to relearn it, to learn how to just show my feelings.
All feels like a mask.
I'm always wearing a mask. Yeah, all the time. The only time that once in a while is at times, there are times when you meet a stranger and you just kind of click.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask each other's names. It happened to me twice. So you don't know anything about, and then you start having those small conversations that goes a little bit deep within a short period of time, and you feel for a second I was myself and
Mm.
judge me. And at that time, I feel like even if they do judge me, I can always say, I don't care. I'm not gonna see them again tomorrow. I'm never gonna bump into them.
How long have you been living in England?
25 years.
Where did you move from?
I'm from a very small country called Lesotho.
The very south of the continent.
South Africa, yes. Yes, sir.
Landlocked by South Africa, correct?
That's me, yeah.
Okay. There's
So
probably a very interesting history with that country.
that's very nice to meet somebody whom I don't even need to give them a bit of geography lesson.
Well, for some reason, I've always been intrigued by that kind of geography, yes. Why did you move from Lesotho to England 20 some years ago?
I was running away from my trauma. I took a risk and found myself here.
You made it. Why did you choose England and not somewhere else?
It was the opportunity that just came. I made a decision within 2 weeks to come to UK. So I never researched the country. I didn't know anything about where I was going. I came here as an au pair a couple of weeks before my 21st birthday.
Okay, so now we know you're in your 40s.
I am 46.
And I believe you have 3 children, right?
The first child, my first daughter, she's from a different relationship. And then the younger two are with my current partner.
Okay. Are they any of them British?
Yes. Oh, yes. They were all born here. Yeah. I became a mom here.
Oh, the fathers.
Yeah. Both of them are British, but they were not born here. They're naturalized British.
Okay, so you weren't involved with, man, these are weird questions. Why do I do this? With a white dude from Britain type thing.
2.5 years in UK, I met this white British guy. I'm only 5'2". He was
Uh-huh.
6'3".
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 6'3". And yeah, and we got married. It was sweet.
Oh.
Sure.
Sweet and short, not going to be the name of your memoir. I don't think. Because it might be a nice description of you, but it doesn't sound like it's necessarily a great description of your life.
I tell you what, let's hold on to it.
I
Yeah.
wrote it down. I wrote it down. Let me ask you a question about your experience listening to the podcast. This is a given. I don't have to say it, but sometimes I'll just remind my guests, like, truly, I just want the truth. Like, I don't need validation. My ego's in good like, I don't need to be patted on the back. When you listen, like, why do you listen? Like, what does it do for you? What does it give you, or how does it help, or whatever it is?
Like I said, I've always felt alone. My community, my friends, and everybody around me are not the kind of people that will accept the fact that I'm suicidal. I'm always constantly feeling alone. So there was a time that it was so overwhelming. And I had just started the liking of listening to podcasts, just general motivation. It was mostly about motivation, but I had been going through a lot of, I do have a severe ideation. So I searched, your podcast was the first one that came.
How about that? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I listened and I have never felt so normal in a long time. So yeah, your podcast, the people that come onto your podcast, they become my friends, my family. Yeah. There are some times when I don't relate that much, but 8 out of 10 times I relate.
Okay, it's a pretty good percentage.
Yes, it is.
It's not bad. 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, not bad. And so now we're talking. Now you're one of those people, right? The other people will hear you. I'm just thinking about little Fusi, growing up there. What's your life like in Lesotho? What's happening? Not just the stuff that led you to run away, just like what's life like during those years before you finally eventually make it to the UK?
I'm the last born of 5 girls. So my grandma with two girls and a boy, youngest was a boy, migrated to Lesotho from South Africa, fleeing the apartheid movement. They were involved. Her husband was involved in political movement and all that. So she had her own struggle that she fled to Lesotho. So that's how I came to be born in Lesotho. My mom met my dad in Lesotho, but he wanted a boy. My dad was rich. He had a good business. So he wanted an heir to his business, but my mom kept having girls. When she was pregnant for me to be born, my dad chucked my mom out with 4 kids with nothing. My mom didn't have any education. She was married. Yeah, she was 16 years old when she got married. So she didn't have anything. So, and my dad told her, if the child you're carrying, if it's not a boy, don't come back. So that child happened to be me.
That's you.
It's me, yes. So that's the genesis of my life. So I was really what I wasn't expected, and that manifested in so many ways throughout my childhood. My grandma remarried in Lesotho to the man that I believed was my maternal grandfather. I didn't know that until very late. He loved me. He was amazing. He was the best human being that ever lived. That I felt love through him, and he made it clear I was his favorite among all his grandchildren. Unfortunately, he passed away in 1990 during the time when he was alive because of him loving me. That has always brought that friction. I just didn't see it, but now as an adult, I see it. My grandma didn't like her. She always used to complain, you're spoiling her, you're letting her get away with things, those kind of, and whenever she wants to punish me, my granddad will protect me to the point that sometimes it will create a bit of argument between two of them. So when my granddad passed away, it was like, who's going to protect you now? And yeah, that was the beginning of my misery. So from the age, I remember just before I turned 11, I was ordered to go and stay at my grandma. My grandma said I should go and stay with her because I'm spoiled. I need to learn how to be a woman. I wasn't doing any chores or anything. My mom was struggling. She was a lone parent of 5 children. My dad literally washed his hands of us. In my grandma's house, she had my uncles because she did have more kids with my grandfather. Yeah. But the uncle that came from South Africa, who is like my mom's full on brother, he had mental health issues. He sometimes had been like admitted in the psych hospital. And mental health in Lesotho, I think in many African country, it's a huge stigma. When somebody loses it to that point that they end up being hospitalized, that's extreme. My grandma didn't like that. She made it clear he was her favorite. When he was at home, then he was the one that all of a sudden things changed. He started abusing me. If I started physical, any little thing, any mistake, any tiny thing, I can forget to wash a spoon, it's a slap, it's a punch. I remember I came back from school one day. There was a little bit of chicken and potatoes left in the pot. I ate that and he choked me, trying to get me to spit the food out. So things like that. It went from that to being sexually abused by him. And this went on from, just around the age of 11 up until 16, 17 years old. Halfway through, I tried to report my grandma. And this is the part where I said I learned how to mask, wear a mask. And I was always told that I'm a liar. I'm bringing shame to the family. I shouldn't say things like that. It's embarrassing for the family. There's all the, it was like, what about me? And I was very, very skinny, dark in complexion. like very dark, darker than I don't know what happened to my complexion. And I promise I don't bleach, but I've gotten a little bit lighter. I think maybe where I live, the climate in UK, I used to be called the devil's child, all the horrible things. I'm ugly. Yeah, I grew up not liking myself.
So 2 questions. Do you remember when you first started thinking about wanting to end your life? Was it back then or did that come later?
Yeah, back then, due to the abuse, I told my mom, but my mom, because she relied on my grandma, she couldn't raise us all by herself. So I felt like she did confront my grandma, but my grandma, I remember my grandma slapping her. That didn't get me anywhere. And I now went to one of my uncles, and he seemed to be understanding, empathetic. And I remember one day coming back from school, and he was at home. He didn't live with my grandma. And I was like, oh yeah, finally he's going to like sort my abuser. Instead, he asked me to show him what am I talking about? What does my uncle do to me? I was just perplexed. I don't know what do you mean? How do I show you? And he said, yeah, I need to see because I don't know, I don't understand. And we all know how much of a liar you are. And I was like, wow, I don't have anyone. So right there and then, he watched my uncle doing things to me that shouldn't been done to any child. And then when he finished, he joined in. He said he liked what he saw. So that's the day that I learned to shut up. Because I realized talking and reporting causes nothing but pain. One of the things that used to take me through it is I used to just fantasize about being a princess. It's American soap, Days of Our Lives.
But maybe so, sure.
Yeah, I used to fantasize I was part of that. I lived in Beverly Hills. Yeah, that used to be like, and that used to keep me going. One day I ran away because it was just too much. It was now like my body was so achy all the time, but because of the color of my skin, you couldn't see the bruises that much. And on the other side as well, my grandma would come up with severe punishment methods that sometimes I look back right now, I'm like, how what was going on in her head. My grandma was very good with herbs, with natural herbs. So she would get there's this particular herb, it's like prickly, thorny kind of leaves. And she would make me strip naked and she would just be beating me with it. And my whole body, my skin will be very like swollen. I'll be swollen. I'll be scratching. I'll be itchy. And then she would make me pour cold water in a tub and make me sit in the cold water. And that used to make like as if the water is now like really boiling hot, like my skin is peeling off. Just to mention a few of the kind of punishment that I used to endure. So yeah, I ran away one day and one of my uncles came, the horrible one. He found me. They found me. He came with his friend in his car because he didn't have a car. I had gone on my way the next district. It's like about an hour and a bit drive. And I remember we're going like on the motorway going home. I was like, no, I can't. Up until then, I had never thought of suicide. And I remember well, the car must be going at about 70, 80 miles an hour. I just opened the back door and I jumped out.
How old were you?
I think I was about 14, 15.
And what happened?
Obviously, they stopped and I was alive.
Well, sure.
I know, bruised. My skin was, braced. I broke my arm. They dragged me back in the car. I wasn't taken to the hospital. I got home. My grandma beat the shit out of me. After that, she just she used to mix loads of concussions of herbs and creams and whatnot. And I remember because it was summer, some of the scars were literally like blistered, pus coming out. But they didn't bother taking me to the doctors. So angry at myself, like, why didn't I look behind? I should have checked that there's another car coming at a similar speed. should have calculated, because then if that car came, it would have hit me and crushed me, and I won't be going through this pain. The thought of that gave me some sort of peace. The thought of me not living, yeah. So the thought of not of making it made me angry. The thought of what could have happened gave me peace. And that's one of the things that I now added to that. When I'm being abused, I used to dream about being dead, and yet having this superpower abilities to see the people that I left behind. I could control. I was in control in my little world, in my imagination world. I can control who is crying and who's not, the truth coming out, the community getting to see my grandma, my uncles for who they really are. So those are the kind of things that used to keep me going.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I don't like whether it's like the community or government or like in your area in Lesotho, then people must have known. I mean, you have physical wounds, no?
they didn't really show. I didn't have
Uh-huh.
physical wounds. Because like I said, apart from the car, I used to get beaten, but apart from the times when she would beat me with this leaf that would make me, but even then, she would just keep me at home. So I will not be allowed to go to school. So I don't go to school.
So for years you're being abused.
Yes, that was my everyday life. So because of that, I didn't even know anything about my periods. I didn't know anything. And the next I remember my grandma looking at me. She came in. I just had my shower, and she looked at me, and she just told me that I'm pregnant. I'm like, me? No. Innocently, I still believed that I don't have a boyfriend. So I had that idea. I knew how babies come, like in that innocent African mind. I didn't have any boyfriend. No boys liked me. I was not pretty. I was not likable. Nobody wanted me. I had boyfriends as my friends. I used to, because most of the girls in my area, they just didn't find me. I wasn't cool enough. So nobody wanted to be friends with me. So when I found out, I remember being told that I'm pregnant, and then it was this, I was scolded. She scolded me. Shame to the family. This is going to embarrass the family. It's humiliating my behavior, all kinds of things. And I remember one day I came back from school, and she was at home with this woman that she used to be like a friend. They used to share notes on the herbs and whatnot. There was this hot bucket, towels and everything. And I remember she told me to take off my clothes, and I couldn't say no, because that's how she was. It was like I was always under her spell. You can't argue with my grandma unless you want to die. Um, what I came to understand late in life, that was my grandma taking the pregnancy, aborting the pregnancy in her kitchen. After that, she put like the fetus, and they poured it in the bucket. I remember I was just passing in and out, in and out, in and out. And when everything was done, I was so much in pain, excruciating pain. And I remember her showing me this fetus in the bucket. It was a gray plastic bucket. This is what happened when you mess about with boys.
Was this a consensual sexual thing or was this rape?
With my uncles.
Right. So this is not messing around with boys. You were being raped.
That's what, yeah, for her, because she doesn't want to accept. She never, whenever I tell her my uncle is hurting me, he's doing things to me, he's touching me in places, he's doing this. And I used to be very, very like brutally honest with her. I've only done that maybe like twice, and she will dismiss it. I am lying. I'm delusional. That's not what he's doing. Is the boys that I'm always playing with. All those boys, those are the ones. And that never used to happen. The boys that they used to be just kids playing.
Okay. Throughout your teenage years, you are suicidal.
Yes.
You had, at 14 years old, you jumped out of the car. In that time, did you try again?
Then after the termination, I remember I was having such nightmares. The fetus, the is turned into a monster, horrible things. It was just too much. I couldn't handle it. And I remember one day I drank, I don't even know how much of it, thin bleach, the brand that we used then. I don't know if they still use the same brand in Lesotho, was something called Jeek. I remember just downing it, burning my throat. My grandma came and found me. I was literally heaving. The smell, you can't avoid the smell. So she knew what I've done. And I remember trying to down some herbs, putting her fingers down my throat, trying to make me, throw up. And I remember same thing, pass out, come back, pass out. And this one, it took me like maybe like 3, 4 days. I don't even know how many days I was out. Yeah, I didn't die. And I remember
You didn't die?
I didn't die. And I was so angry again. I'm so useless that I can't even kill myself.
How many more times, if at all, do you try between then and when you finally leave Lesotho?
That was my last one. But then something strange happened after that, after the second one. Because the first one, I don't think my grandma saw it as an attempt. So, but this one, it was different. So things got a little bit better. And me too, it was like I gave in. When my uncle calls me, I stop retaliating. I'll just literally just follow him, basically being a good girl, being obedient, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just and I now realized that was giving me a bit of peace. But shortly after that, my grandma, things got better in South Africa. Nelson Mandela had won. She decided to move back to South Africa. And my uncle followed. But I wasn't okay. I was spiraling. I was started drinking. My education, I didn't get a scholarship to go to uni. I did really well for we do something called not GCSE, it's like equivalent to GCSE. Then you go to uni. I Unfortunately I didn't get scholarship because that's what I was trying to achieve. And my mom couldn't afford to pay for my university fee. Again, that crushed me. Then I met this Nigerian guy I was dating. I ran away from home. Reckless. Really, I was just living a reckless life. And then one day he just told me that, oh, I know somebody in England who knows somebody that is looking for a nanny. I was like, I'll take it. Yeah, I was like, I'll take it. So I didn't research anything. Within 2 weeks, the ticket was bought. I was on a flight to UK,
What part of the UK?
South London.
Okay.
Oh, Croydon. That was where I first.
Was that a culture shock?
A huge,
Yeah.
huge, because
Huge.
Lesotho is very tiny. Even though I grew up in the capital of Lesotho, it's still very tiny compared to England.
Oh, yeah, sure. And just there's so many differences, I would imagine.
And the family that I came to stay with as well, they were not bad people per se compared to what I'm coming from, but they didn't pay me. I worked like literally like a slave. The house, I've never ever. I grew up in a very clean house where you can see the reflection of your face, on the floor. And I came to this place. I remember when they showed me to the bed where I'm gonna sleep, and I wouldn't even allow my dog to. Even if I have a dog, I won't allow them to sleep
So
on.
they never paid you?
Never.
Well, I don't understand.
So they now told me when I finally had the balls to ask, they now told me that, oh, we were told that you're coming to UK and you don't have anywhere to stay. So we'll give you accommodation while you're looking for a job. And in return, you'll be helping us. I'm like, I'm not helping. I have been working for you.
And how long did that last for?
I was there for like a year and a bit because I didn't know anybody in UK.
Wow.
And by this time, I know people say you can't run away from your problems. In my opinion, that's rubbish. That's bullshit. that's when I realized that I'm okay. Not okay, but being away from Lesotho, I feel like I'm alive. It was like I just buried when I left Lesotho. I told myself I left everything in Lesotho, my trauma, everything. I left it at home, and I've got this new life.
And when you're in that, like, you're basically like an indentured servant. Suicidal, or does it start to fade away and soften a little bit?
Nothing, no ideation,
Hmm.
nothing. I'll still have nightmares. I'll have panic attacks, but I didn't know that there were panic attacks. I just used to feel maybe I'm anxious or tired or
Right.
worried about my finances. Basically, I'll just use whatever that's happening in my life at that particular time to be the reason why I'm feeling that way. It was like I just pushed it on one side.
How do you get out of that situation, and what happens next?
One day I just packed my bags. I was like, I'm tired. I wanted to go back home. But then I used to do hair for people. So I had gone to do somebody's hair. On my way back, I got lost passes in London. You know, when you're still relatively new in the country, my English wasn't so great. Lo and behold, I was at a different place. I've never been there before. I just heard somebody calling my name. I'm like, who the heck knows me? And it happens to be one lady that I knew in Lesotho. I didn't know that she was here in UK. So I remember just crying. I'm like, this is the situation. Can you borrow me money, buy me a ticket when I get to Lesotho? I promise I will work hard and I'll send you the money back. Blah, blah. Just like, calm down, let's talk. And long story short, she helped me. She showed me, good directions where to go to get a job that I was being paid. And I got a bit of independent. But then all this while, the family that I came here with, they had told me that they were going to do my work permit. So my passport was with them. So when I left without it. And obviously, that was not the truth. They did it because they didn't employ me. So they didn't get me a work permit. So I had been illegal in UK all this while. And it caught up with me shortly after I found out I was pregnant with my first daughter. Before that, actually, sorry, 2004, since the termination, I used to have this severe belly ache. I just never know what was causing it. So in 2004, it got really bad. I was bleeding heavily, rushed to the hospital here in UK. And upon doing a lot of tests of what's going on, where are you bleeding? Is it internal bleeding? They found out there was a big, like this size of a wire that was left inside and it had pierced through my uterus. Yeah. So during what was being done to me at the age of 16, that was the remnant of it. So because of that, I didn't think I can have a child. So when I found out my first daughter, her dad, we were not in a place where we wanted to have kids. It was nothing serious. So when I found out I was pregnant, I wanted to have it and he didn't. And I respected that. And I never, since she was born, I never bothered him. I don't call him. I don't bother him with that because it was my choice. But then he informed the ICE of UK, the border control, and told them that I was illegal in the country. So I was arrested, sent to prison, from prison to detention center while I was pregnant. And then with a lot of help from some charitable organizations, I was released and I gave birth in UK to my daughter.
How long were you in jail in the detention center for in total?
I was arrested in November, still remember November 19th. And I was there November, December, January, mid-January, I was released from prison. And then I was in detention center until April.
Wow.
But I was born in July. So it was a journey, which I won't bore you about. It was a journey. I was served with about 8 deportation orders, but I'm still here
Somehow.
somehow.
You mean alive and in England?
Alive and in England. And I finally got my status in 2016. Now I'm legal.
You had 2 more children at some point.
I have 2 more children with my current partner.
So the 2 younger children are half siblings to the older one. Do they talk?
Oh, yeah, they all live with me.
You live in London?
Just in the outskirts of London, about an hour drive from central London.
Okay. What are your days like?
In the past year, that's where we ended up being where we are. I got diagnosed with cancerous paraganglioma. So it was this big tumor that was growing on my aorta. So it was removed surgically. So I had this big scar literally across my belly all the way down. So the healing journey was really, really severe. They found another lump in my breast, my left breast. So I had another surgery on my breast last year. So I had two surgeries last year. Before that, I love cooking. Cooking is my passion. And I also volunteer kind of with an organization that helped me when I was in detention center called the Helen Bamba Foundation. They were the ones who actually helped me with my trauma because I think that fear of when I was about to be deported, it brought that trauma. I was not in a good place. So they helped me with psychotherapy. I was their patient for about 5 years.
Until today, I know you had a couple more kids. You have a partner. How often are you ideating? Are there more attempts?
I've had one more attempt, which was an overdose of medication, sleeping tablets, but it didn't work. I woke up.
How long ago was that?
This was last year, July.
Okay, so how do we find ourselves here? How are you here now with this idea that it sounds like you're gonna end your life?
My ideation is, I feel like now I've had too many attempts that didn't work, and I feel like the next one has to work.
Yeah.
And my ideation is literally like almost every day. And that is too much. And I'm just tired. I'm tired.
Does your partner know that you're maybe gonna be dead soon?
No, he doesn't. Like I said, he's Nigerian. He doesn't understand. So when that's the reason why I said I don't talk about it. When I talk about it, it's like, oh, Mafusi, you have so much to thank God for.
Mm-mm.
I get reminded of my blessings. I get reminded of where I've come from, my story, my journey.
Right.
I get reminded of how beautiful my kids are, and my kids are beautiful. They're smart. My oldest daughter, she aced her GCSEs. She's aspiring. She wants to do finance, banking, whatever. She has a very clear path. She's so smart. She's so beautiful. I know every parent we say that our kids are beautiful, but my kids are beautiful.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
And I feel like I've done a really good job because they're so well mannered. And I want to believe that they're loved, but they don't know that the love that they feel is coming from a very broken person because I don't love myself. I don't. I hate my life and I hate that I hate my life. I hate that I don't see anything good for me. When I try to talk about how I feel with pretty much everyone around me, this has always been said to you on this podcast. We just want somebody to just shut up and just listen.
Yeah.
I don't want your ideas. I know, but it's impossible. And I do understand that it's coming from a good place. But so I always find myself now having to think about myself, my kids, and being mindful of what I say to my loved ones, people around me, the adults around me. So because of that, I choose not to say anything. I just shut up. I don't. I just say what just come up as Mafuzu is so happy. That is easy. It's easy doing that.
That's not the memoir title. The Fusi is so happy. Unless we really want to get ironic.
I think
That could be a big fuck you to everybody though, no?
I think so. I think so. So yeah, that's why I said to just wait and let's
Yeah.
go.
I have an idea of what you've gone through. I mean, I only know what you say and share and your current situation, and you had some recent medical procedures. You're not able to talk about your pain.
No.
You had a lot of trauma. Some of it you've been able to get help with. Have you returned to Lesotho at all since you?
I went in 2019. Everybody's gone. My mom has passed away. She had passed away. My grandma had passed away. My uncle passed away. So it was just an empty place. But that's what I thought. I'm safe now. I can go home. But it was far from it. Because unfortunately, shortly after I came back, that's when we went to the pandemic.
Yeah.
That brought a lot of things, and I was so scared. So I haven't gone back since. So I've only gone back once, and I don't see myself going back again.
You've seen doctors, different kinds of doctors.
Yeah.
Have you gotten a diagnosis you think is correct?
PTSD, yes. Depression and anxiety, those are my diagnoses. And I think they're correct. Yeah.
Do you take medication?
Yeah, I am.
Does it help?
Oh, not really. Not really.
Okay. So when you say you're thinking about ending your life, how close are you? I mean, are we talking about you have a date, method, that like where are you at?
I don't know. Like I said, I've always my kids are the reason. I want to see my kids, especially. And this sounds like I'm being biased with
Mhm.
my kids, because I'm sure you would have. I'm talking more about my oldest. Yeah, I feel like if she can understand, then she will be able to be there for the younger ones.
Mm.
I don't think I have enough time to wait for the younger ones to get to the age where they can understand things.
Is it just because not just is it the idea of staying alive just feels too impossible?
It is. It's becoming really, really impossible,
Yeah.
and it's affecting. Like I said, I'm wearing this mask, made myself look like I don't feel anything, and I am. I'm in some way, I I'm just numb.
Yeah.
You know. So because of that, it makes it hard for people around me. Like for instance, my relationship with my partner is affecting that severely. He sees me as this person that don't have any feelings, that he can just ignore me. He can hurt me without fear of me feeling pain. It's too much. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, I am tired, Sean.
Let's talk about the pill.
Do you know what? When I was driving up here, I was thinking about that. I would definitely take it and keep it.
Okay, so you would hold on to it?
I'll hold on to it because I feel like it will be the best thing, and I feel like by holding on to it, I'll have it within a month because I do have a couple of things that I need to do. One of them which is another thing that I haven't told anyone. Because of my mental health, my anxiety, I struggle to concentrate to do anything. So that's why I love cooking, because with cooking, I have to sit by the cooker, I stay in the kitchen until I'm done. Because anytime when I step out, I completely forget. I forget things. So I'm in the process of writing my story, and I haven't come up with a title yet. So
Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second.
I know.
So wait, you are actually writing a story.
I am. I got a ghostwriter.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I'm working with this incredible, lovely lady. She is amazing. Honestly, she is. I couldn't.
But is she a memoir title expert?
No, oh, she's doing this for the first time. So this is
She's the ghost writer.
yeah.
She's not the ghost titler.
No.
But I know you've thought about titles or subtitles. I'm sure you have.
Seriously, I haven't. And especially when I listen to your podcast, every time I'll be like, okay, 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 okay. And then especially when I hear, a story about somebody who's got something kind of similar to my journey a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's see what Sean comes up with. Another one. So I was like, okay, Sean, come on, work with it.
I think more recently I've been bad at it. I used to come up with the titles. Now I'm more like, well, what do you think your title should be? I don't know
Just
what's gonna.
a bit, Sean. What's happening?
I don't know. I have got my own issues, man. I've got my own mushy mind. But sweet and short and something is a possibility for me.
I think so. I'm actually
Or
thinking that.
short and sweet, but then the third word has to be like the shocking word.
Short and sweet, Sweet and
And
short and broken
yeah, like ideally it would be another
or fucked up.
yeah. Sweet and short and all kinds of fucked up or something like that.
Something like that. Okay.
Maybe. Just throw it on there. Talk to your ghostwriter friend.
But I don't want to post it. I feel like the more I talk, the more I realize how horrible the things that I've gone through, and I feel like it's too gory.
Hmm.
So I have made up. I'm not gonna publish it. You might be lucky. You might be one of the few privileged. I might send you a copy, but you have to promise not to share.
Oh. So you think you're going to be alive by the time it's done?
I have to finish that. That's one thing that I have. I must finish it.
Well, how long is that going to take, do you think?
Maybe a couple of months.
Oh, is that it? Okay. And what's the other thing you have to take care of?
I really wish I can see my daughter go to uni.
Okay. When you do try, are you going to tell anybody or is it just going to be goodbye?
I don't even know. I don't even have anyone that I can tell.
And you said that you really want to make sure it works. So have you been thinking more about method?
I have, but I won't tell you.
Okay. Got a question for you. Just to see if you've really been listening. What color is the pill?
Blue and purple.
Pink and purple.
Pink and purple.
And what happens when you take it?
Go to sleep. You go and your family and loved ones, they think you died peacefully, natural causes, but only you knows.
And there's no pain.
There is no pain.
Of how many people in the world? So you've attempted suicide a handful of times over the years. How many people know about that?
Apart from my therapist, apart from that's their job. I've told two people, and I tried to tell my partner, and I did not like the response I got.
What was it?
I think it was the timing as well when I told him. He just bought a new house. It was meant to be our house. And I only found out he didn't put my name on the deeds. He didn't put my name on even on the will, nothing. He just put the kids. So when I questioned that, we had this family member who was kind of immediate because we've been having issues, in our relationship. So she was there, and she's one of the people that I have told. And she was the one who she was like, "Do you want to tell your partner about, which I did?" And it was like, well, if you think you're going to die, then why do you even want your name to be on the house? Because you won't be here to give the house, yeah, to do whatever. So, yeah, it's only fair that you don't even have your name on the house. So, and it wasn't said, I'm saying it in a nice way. It wasn't said in a nice way. So,
Right. I've got it.
yeah, so I didn't bother to mention like to details. Yeah, I've always been met with that kind of pushback. Like, don't be silly. Like, come on, why would you do that? You can't do that. Think about your kids. What do you think your kids are gonna feel? Do you know the pain you're gonna put on your kids? Of course I do.
Of course.
But I don't know.
What's the language you grew up speaking?
So too,
How do you say suicide in Soto?
don't have it.
You don't have the word at all. People do kill themselves
Just,
there, right?
just like it translates to self murder.
Okay. But I mean, because people do take their lives there, I'm sure.
Yeah, people do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that is always labeled as selfish.
Yep.
I said, why would they do that? It's like you're selfish. You're just very inconsiderate. Why? There's always those whys. You get few people who are compassionate. Yeah. So whenever there's been like, even like the celebrity world, when there's suicide, I'm always so envious of those people. I am so jealous of them. I'm like, you lucky sod.
Yeah. Somebody else just told me that too, that like they feel this envy. Yeah.
I am so envious. I am so envious of them. I don't get jealous of people buying nice things or having a good life or anything. I don't care about that.
You mentioned how some people might view suicide in Lesotho and elsewhere with being selfish or other things. Are there other myths or misconceptions you want to dispel?
That when you talk about it, you're not gonna do it.
That could go. That's an interesting one because that goes both ways.
There's this misconception. Yeah, right. If you're talking about it, that means you're not gonna. If you're gonna do it, you would have just done it.
Okay. Okay.
anybody. You won't talk about it. You won't say you're suicidal. Even, I think this is the first time in a long time, apart from even in therapy, I've never really admitted that I'm suicidal.
Really? Okay.
No, I feel like it's one of the fewest times of my life that I can loudly say, "Hi, my name is Fusi and I'm suicidal."
That's not a memoir title?
It could be.
I do have one more question. What's your favorite dish to cook? Because you love cooking.
Oh, I've taken the liking to Nigerian cuisines. Yeah. So jollof rice, jack chicken, loads of different. I'm experimenting with vegetarian, vegan dishes, but we love meat in my house.
What else would you like to share?
In the African community, I feel we need to really self-educate ourselves with suicide and mental health in general, because a lot of us are really hurting and we are all alone, and we just need someone to just listen. We just need to listen. No judging, no religion. Yeah, no religion, no judging. Just listen and be there as much as we can, and don't expect anything in return. Just be there.
Do a lot of good. Awesome. It was really nice talking with you. I'm glad we were able to connect.
Thank you for your patience, Sean. Thank
Of
you.
course.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's the rest of your day like? Now I know it's, what is it, evening there?
Evening. So I'm gonna Netflix and chill.
And when are you heading back to England?
Tomorrow I'm going hiking with one of my friends around here, and then I'll be driving back home.
Well, I hope you enjoy your hike and your drive. I hope it's safe.
Thank you.
Enjoy your friend. And thanks again for talking with me, for real. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sean.
Have a nice night.
You too. Bye-bye.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support. And special thanks to Fusi in the UK. Thanks, Fusi. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, please reach out. I'd love to talk with you. hello@suicidenoted.com. Our backup email, just in case, suicidenoted@gmail.com. Remember, we've got a weekly poll on Spotify, and if you would, on Apple, if that's your jam, please give us a 5-star rating. Only if you think we are 5-star worthy. I appreciate it very much. And that is all for this week's episode. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.